Ladies and gentlemen, here we are with a bit of a 10 questions with James High Octane Lanham, the ICW Central West promoter here in Cowra, New South Wales, as submitted by Suplex Studios editor Jake Gibson. So I'll try and give each question the due diligence and due respect it deserves. So let's get on to question number 1. What does Cowra mean to me personally, both as a wrestler and as a local? More than anything else, Cowra means to me one word, and that word is home. I'm so deeply rooted in this town that I could not be dug up with the biggest bit of heavy machinery Cowra Council have. I've always called this place home. I'll always call it home. It's an amazing town, and the community is incredible. As long as you stick with the right circles and don't get into anything bad, it's a great town. It may lack some of the big shops. Well, what small town doesn't lack big shops? And the exchange for that is not only the great community, but that you can afford to live here without always having to put your hand in your pocket. The fact that I could, at 26 years old, buy my own home, you can't do that many other places. It's a great town. It's supportive. If you're a person who does good things and helps people, Cowra sees that. The community sees that. The power brokers see that. The Cowra Council and so many other organisations and individuals around town. You can't lie to Cowra people for long, or really for any period of time. They see through carnies. They see through anyone trying to take money from the town, even if you're a local and just trying to cash in on the town and not give back. Cowra people can see that. So really, I'd be nothing without Cowra. Australian wrestling is only a pretty small thing, and the wrestlers in the bigger cities, yeah, they might be a bigger deal than me, like with the internet wrestling community and such. They walk down the street where they live, and most people, in most cases, no one knows who they are. Here in Cowra, I'm not saying everyone knows who I am, but quite a few do. And it's important to me that I'm seen as a good part of this town. I may not be a big part of this town, but people look at me and they say he's a positive bloke, he does good things, and he's helping people. And really, there's not much more than that you can expect or wish for than the people who grew up around you and know you more than anyone to be saying that you're a good person. And I try to give back. I've always tried to give back with these shows, helping charities, even before the Emma Butler tongue cancer charity, and even more so now it's even a bigger deal. And yeah, buying the early detection scopes to help save lives is a huge thing. And yeah, so as a wrestler and as a person, I'd be nothing without this town. And I'd be nothing without, there's other individuals too in wrestling who've helped me and elsewhere, and they're as big. I won't mention names just not to peel back the curtain too much, but yeah, without this town and a few of those individuals, I'd be nothing. So yeah, like, I'll never leave here. This is my home, and yeah, I love this place. Cowra's home. So on to question number 2. How did ICW Central West first come together as a spin-off of ICW Australia? Well, funnily enough, I always wanted to be a wrestling promoter, even before I wanted to be a wrestler. When I was young and first discovered wrestling, I thought it was going to be too physical, too violent for me. I didn't think I'd cope with it. I didn't think my body would cope with it. Turns out I was right. I should have listened to 12-year-old me. But madness set in and I got the itch and I jumped in the ring and started training with with the wrestling scene in Canberra at the time, but when I was 16. But yeah, I worked for ICW. Rex helped build me into what I became, and I was incredibly loyal and still am incredibly loyal to ICW Australia. But for years I wanted to be a wrestling promoter. Like from back in the days, playing on my wrestling figures, holding very small scale backyard wrestling shows and the like. I loved and I still love the creative side of this business even more than the physical or any of that sort of thing. The creative side of this business is such an amazing thing. And really the word business doesn't really mean anything. It's an art form. Pro wrestling is an art form more than any other thing that it is. And so it came about. I'd been wanting to run shows for years. I never really was going to have the opportunity until ICW came around. And then I worked for Rex for a few years, and then I finally was in a state financially where it was a conceivable thing to do. So I was a far less confident person back then, so I actually got my dad to ask Rex if he would be happy with me running shows here in Cowra as part of, as a branch of his promotion. I was so nervous about it because I thought he'd see me as trying to go off and do my own thing and like not be loyal to his company, or even like some have in the past break off and then try and compete, and that was not the intention, never will be. I'll always bleed orange and black, like ICW is my home, it's my home promotion, always will be. But yeah, so I went to Rex, we all spoke about it, we nutted out the details. That was in probably about mid-2011, and then we spoke with potential venues in Cara, which there isn't that many, and with the help of Mark McLeish, who at the time ran Cara Civic Centre, we got the show booked in for 2013, and we got it going, and yeah, huge success, and the rest is history. So let me see, the third question, favourite memory from early days of running shows in Cara. Well, there's a lot. I would say probably from the first show, 2 memories that stick out. The first being the fact that the money I paid Rex for that show, he to this day has never spent. He keeps it as a keepsake of me being the one to pay him and him being up to come and work on my show. I know it was probably as full a circle moment to him as it was for me. There's other moments too, like the fact Birdman Phil Picasso wrestled on that show and has wrestled on all the standalone shows I've run and all but one of the exhibition shows I've run. Like, I watched Birdman before he was Birdman, when he was just King of Aussie Biffo, Phil Picasso, at Young Services Club back in 2001. He was the first friend I ever made in wrestling. And for him to come and be so willing and generous with his time and efforts to come here and work in Cara and become like one of just a Cara celebrity, even though he doesn't live here. Like, have Birdman on the show was incredible and such a full circle moment. And one of the other moments I didn't actually see personally, but I was told about it by my dad and others who witnessed it. At the first show we ran at the Cara Civic Centre, there was a bunch of kids had snuck through the guardrail to go up to the ring and cheer. They were like getting a bit too into it and cheering and getting really into the action and really emotionally invested. And their dad went up to the ring to get the kids to come back. But then the dad started watching while he was like up literally between the guardrail and the ring. Starts watching. And so, like, emotionally invested, he forgets that he's meant to be bringing the kids back to the seats. And he kind of just stays there. And then his wife has to get him and the kids and bring them back to the seats. It's just like a really funny thing. But yeah, there's a lot of memories, but those are probably the two of the best. Yeah, so we'll go on to, where are we up to? Match, until I'm a wrestling promoter. Question number 4. How would you describe the atmosphere of the Cara crowd compared to Canberra and other cities? I would say it's relaxed, but enthusiastic. Like, it's a very diverse crowd here in Cara, every single year. The crowd's always been huge. We've never drawn less than about 130 people. I think the first show drew 134 and it's gone up just about every time since then. Our biggest crowd was about 250, and some of the exhibition shows probably, obviously people weren't paying to be there, but drew, I think one of the festival matches we held drew like 200-300 people just watching our show. But it's a very diverse crowd. I would say the crowds in Cara, there's more different demographics, more different types of wrestling fans in those crowds than anywhere else. Like, it's not just the casual fan, it's not just the hardcore fan, it's not the internet fan. It's a mix of everyone, and like for the most part it's families, like kids and their like the parents, grandparents. A big contingent of the disability community here in Cara attends our shows and they've always loved it. And they even attended the ICW shows in Canberra before that. And that was one of the catalysts for me wanting to run here. That really like confirmed that this was something I wanted to do, was bring shows here so as much of the local disability community could come and enjoy shows without having to go to Canberra or travel anywhere else. But yeah, there is like the smallest contingent is probably that diehard hardcore wrestling fan. But there is a very small group of those in Cara, those people, and they come to the shows and they enjoy it. Yeah, mostly it's the families and the people with disabilities. Often, like every year, there's at least a few new faces, a few people who've never come before, and they always leave having enjoyed it. Sometimes you can tell like they're a bit shocked at like just how physical and just how big a like ordeal it is for us in there, and also just like how good Australian wrestling actually is. That it's not just like some backyard thing, that is actual proper trained wrestlers. And I try to, like, one of the lessons I learned coming up through the business was the best way to approach wrestling is to treat it like a circus. It should be able to cater to everyone as much as is possible. And So that's what I've tried to do with these shows. I try not to have it like too PG, too sanitised, but not to do anything that would be like way too violent and offend people. And our show's always dry. We don't have alcohol served at them thus far, and we hope to continue with that. We want to make it as comfortable and as all-inclusive and as like just pleasant an environment for both the fans and the performers. The wrestlers deserve to have a good atmosphere, not to have people ruining it with drunken behaviour or obnoxiousness or antisocial behaviour. So yeah, the Cara crowd, they get really into it there, and you don't hear the snide remarks, you don't hear like the "you effed up" chants, you don't hear people booing if something goes wrong in a match. Like they'll be patient and let you recover and get back to where you need to be going to with like the matches. They're forgiving, they enjoy it, they can put up with if things don't go right, but they really enjoy it when things do go right. And just the intensity and just the passionate response and hearing the emotional investment, that's one of the most satisfying things of being a wrestler, especially running and performing on shows in Cara, is that emotional investment that they truly care what's going on. And yeah, they're an amazing crowd. I've wrestled in front of some amazing crowds elsewhere. Some in Canberra have been incredible, but there's nowhere that I've wrestled that's like Cara. So on to question number 5. What made Emma Butler so special? And how did the memorial show come to be dedicated to her older? This is a bit of a hard question. It's an easy question to answer. It's a hard question to know exactly what to say on this sort of short form platform and not get too emotional and stuff. But Emma, I could be here literally till next year and not have even scratched the surface of what made Emma so special. She was one of those people who, her whole thing was helping other people. She, when she got sick, when she had cancer, this was during COVID, she couldn't work anymore, so she started doing a Masters in Public Health because she was so worried about what was happening with the COVID situation, and she wanted to help, and she wanted to put herself in a place that when she hopefully recovered, that she could go and help people with COVID and try and make a difference in society. And she did that with all her jobs. She was a mental health nurse, she was a trained school teacher, she worked in aged care, she worked in drug and alcohol rehab for Aboriginal youth in Dubbo. She's done a lot of amazing things, and all of those jobs were jobs where you help people and about putting people, like other people, first and yourself second. And just how tight she is with all her family and friends, and she's just put everyone else before her type person, and just such an incredible person and so smart, possibly the smartest person I've ever met. She was dux of her school. An incredible person, but she'd never realised that was the problem. Like myself, she kind of had low self-esteem, and as did I until I met Emma, and it was looking like we were going to get married, and like that's what built me up, made me more confident was Emma. And obviously wrestling at first, but yeah, Emma, in terms of like mainstream non-wrestling things, proved to me that I'm as good as anyone else, and she wasn't just as good as anyone else, she was the best damn person there ever was. There's a very few people I put up on that sort of pedestal. My grandpa's one of them. Emma's father, who's passed away, is one of them. Yeah, an incredible person, Emma, and I love and miss her every day, and when the time is right, I know we'll be reunited again. But the memorial show, literally the day Emma passed, I was racking my brain of what to do to pay respects and something I could use wrestling for to help. And I came up with the idea for the memorial show to run and also the Emma Butler Memorial Championship to pay respects and keep her name alive and just in people's memories and in people's minds. And the original concept was before the charity and that came about. The initial show was going to be, I was going to give the proceeds to Emma's family to cover the funeral expenses, Emma's funeral expenses from earlier that year. But they had that handled, and they told me about their idea for this tongue cancer charity to help people in whatever way they could come up with like oral cancer patients around the district and that. And it was just a no-brainer. Use this platform as both a fundraiser and to raise awareness, because a lot of people don't realise just how prevalent tongue cancer is and how much more prevalent it's getting, especially in young women between 20 and 40, with none of like the usual lifestyle or health risk factors. And so we did that, and it's just grown and grown from there. We run these shows every year, and it's been amazing. And I'll continue to do that as long as I won't say of sound mind. I'm not really of sound mind or body, but until until the good Lord takes me, until I get my call up to main roster up in the clouds. I'll be here in Cowra running these memorial shows forever and helping people with oral cancer and helping raise community morale and spirit in what is an amazing town. So where are we up to? Number 6. What goes into putting this annual event together? The challenges, the wins, the behind the scenes work people don't see. What people would think a once a year thing, like run to your wrestling promotion, you might start getting ready maybe a month or two before, like that's all it sort of is. Bit of promotion that, no, literally the work for each year's show starts before the previous year's shows even happened. It's all encompassing. I've got my own health problems and I'm not in a place where I can have a day job, so I have the time to commit to it, and I probably commit too much time to it and too much effort. Some would think for something that I'm not making any money out of, but really I have no regrets. I love every minute of it. Well, not every minute of it. I find it rewarding. Let's just say every minute leads to good things, but not every minute's good in the lead up. But it's everything. It's the obvious things like the booking and the booking the venues, the promotional stuff, the getting the cars ready, booking talent, like all the usual things you think go on the wrestling shows, and then it's like the little jobs, just like in that last probably 3 months before the show. There's probably each of those months there's maybe 50 or 60 little jobs that needs doing. They might be a 5-minute job, they might be an hour job, but those 50, 60 jobs that range from like 5 minutes to an hour, and that's a lot of time. You have to commit to this, and then you got the promotional stuff. I do not own my own automobile, unfortunately. Owning a home and having purchased an $18,000 wrestling ring does not allow me to own an automobile, a motor vehicle, so I do the vast majority of like the posters and the flyers on foot, walking around town. For 1 year running these shows, I wore a brand new pair of shoes to the ground within 2 weeks, doing flyer runs. I have put up, some years I've put as many as 5,000 letterbox drop flyers, as well as hundreds of posters. Then you got like working with The Guardian, working with like the local newspaper, The Guardian and the Cowra Phoenix, getting the press releases done for them. You got just all the stuff. As talent pull out, that's one of the most stressful things, especially the week or two before the show. Rearranging the card, all the matches, trying to, if needed, find replacement talent. That's one of the biggest nightmares. You book, say, 20 wrestlers and nearly without fail you only have 10 or 11. By the end, if you have like 15, 16, that's a pretty good year. Just all the little jobs, all the buying the weapons for Bunnings, the Bunnings run, they know me well there. They know exactly what I'm doing every time. It's huge. Just the typing up the match cards. I know one of our referees, Dave Hidler, was a bit surprised. He looked at the match card, he's like, I'm not used to a 20-page running sheet. And he's like, I'm used to 1 page. And I'm like, I tend to try and be well prepared for anything, and anything that goes wrong, you can't say I didn't prepare for it. It went wrong, and I tried to get back from that as quickly as possible. But yeah, it's a huge thing, especially now having my own ring, and that was a big process, getting the locally made wrestling ring. And just the liaising with council, whichever venue I happen to be at, whether it's Council Cowra Civic Centre or the Uniting Church, when I run things like the Cowra Show or the Festival of International Understanding. It's a non-stop thing. It's basically a full-time job that has no financial benefit, but has like far more important benefits to like myself and, more importantly, other people. It's a huge undertaking, and like people who have never run a show would not understand. People who have, they probably know where I'm coming from. Whether it's wrestling or just organising, like to Mark McLeish at Club Cowra and people like that, they know what I'm going through. Jason Stewart with the boxing, Hawkenberg, the other local boxing coach. People who've done these things, they understand. People who haven't, they kind of don't have any concept. I know they have, like most of them appreciate it, but until you've done it, you have no concept of what goes into these things. Now, I don't know how Rex does it running every month, just about like, I would be in a grave, brain aneurysm, dead from stress. But yeah, we'll get on to, what are we up to? Number 7. As a promoter, what was I most proud of about this year's show? There's a lot of things, but I think the thing I was most proud of is the fact how much the Cara community came out and helped us sell this event out more than 2 months ahead of the show, despite external factors which we won't go into, and just how much they rallied behind this show, behind Emma's charity, behind myself, behind mine and Emma's combined family, behind this town. Basically, there was some drama, some external factors, a date change, but yeah, literally it's the quickest sellout we've ever had, and the support from the community, whether it's the venues, whether it's Club Cara, whether it's Cara Civic Centre, the church hall that we ran, Cara Community Enterprise. Because of what was going on, our community rallied more behind us and supported us more, and were more passionate about keeping this thing going and keeping building it and making sure that it was the success that it deserved to be, and it definitely was. So that's what I'm most proud of, is seeing our town rally and seeing the good people, even the ones not in our town, like just in the wider wrestling community, whether it's ICW or Suplex or a lot of the other groups, APW, Birdman with APW, a lot of the others just rallying and just making sure this went well and that it will continue to. And I thank everyone who did that so much from the bottom of my heart. Question number 8. What matches or moments from the past Cara events stand out in the memory the most? Well, there's a lot. I think in terms of my personal matches, probably my 2 favourites would be the one I had with Rex at Western Warfare. The event used to be billed as Western Warfare 1 back in 2013. That was probably my favourite match I've ever had. I've had a match with Joel Bateman in Canberra that I'd put up there with that one, and a match with Mr. Saturday Night in Goulburn. But yeah, just brilliant match. Literally, it was me on top of my game before the concussion started setting in. Well, my back had gone, but I gutted it out for like one more night before it kind of got on top of me. But yeah, that match was just a thing of beauty. I loved every minute of it. The crowd, just the response when I scored that pinfall in the end, and just you hear the crowd, not only were they happy and exuberant, but there was a sense of relief that good had prevailed, and the local guy had finally lived his dream and won his match. And that's exactly how I felt. You see me roll off Rex, and you see it's like the weight of the world has been lifted, and it definitely was. And it was just that moment completed my career, and like everything after that was pretty much just a bonus, a very bloody good bonus, but a bonus nonetheless. But other memories, the first show we did for Emma, the match I had with Atticus Slane, it's a very proud moment. All the matches like that I've had as well, I've been very happy with all the matches I've had at these shows. In terms of matches not involving me, Birdman, every year Birdman has like one of the best matches of the show, if not the best, and it's usually the one that gets the crowd the most into it. And every single match Birdman has out here is different. People can go on about the Phil Picasso routine, but he changes it up, and he just does something special for Cara every time he's here. And seeing the kids and just everyone else get behind him like they do, and just the fact that he's all about the fans. There's no one I've ever met that is prouder of the fact he's a wrestler, and is prouder of the fact of just the fact that he's a wrestler and he has fans, and what he can do for those people. And it's amazing to see the connection he has. And I don't think there's anyone, and I hope I don't make myself too many enemies, I don't think there's anyone in Australian wrestling who connects with the fans like the Birdman. And yeah, a lot of other great memories. Getting Barry Blake to the point he could have his first match and became part of the business. The fact that for a long time I was the only living Cara wrestler. My grandpa told me years ago, like back in the 50s or 60s, the man who ran the Golden Key Cafe, which is now the Apsara Cafe, he was a pro wrestler, but he's long since passed away. So for a long time I was the only wrestler in Cara. And a lot of people would want to protect that and like not have anyone mooching on that, but no, I wanted to share that. I wanted to help someone who was a good person and also doing good in the town, and giving everything he could to try, and who'd come to me and wanted me to help him get into the business and be part of these shows. I was and I am proud to have done that, and to have done the initial training Barry's had before going on to train at other companies like Suplex and a little bit at ICW in Canberra. Yeah, I'm proud of that. I'm proud of what he's doing elsewhere, but I'm most of all proud of what he's doing here. Yeah, there's a lot of great memories. Just racking my brain. Well, no, I don't have to rack my brain, I can remember them, but yeah, trying to think of any that stand out. Yeah, the 2018 show, Western Warfare 4, having the film crew there to make the High Octane documentary. Like, that was just insane that these people came and treated me like I was a somebody, and just we filmed for like weeks and weeks. By the time you factor in the B-roll and everything else, and that was just amazing. The final product, which is on the Nowness YouTube channel, it's under the name Blood, Sweat and Wrestling in Small Town Australia. Rob Farley, the director, just an incredible effort. Every show said something special. Having the Mayor Bill West open the shows and be there to present the belt at the end of the night, and in recent times the Deputy Mayor Nikki Kiss, and having Mark McLeish there and Lawrence Ryan, and just all the amazing things. Literally could not have been a bigger success from what I envisaged it to be, like when I started, what I wanted this to be. Like, literally it surpassed it on every front, and become like an even more important and more just amazing thing than I ever thought running a wrestling promotion in Cara could be. What does the future look like for ICW Central West? Any goals, expansion, hopes or plans that I'd like fans to know about? Really the plan is just to keep going with what we're doing. I've run other shows like the Cara Show and the Festival of International Understanding, and I would have kept doing those. Both, like, the organisational people at both those wanted us back, but unfortunately it was getting too hard to get enough wrestlers out here 3 times a year to give each of the 3 shows the justice it deserves and make them as good as they could have been. So Emma's show had to become like the only thing I'm kind of running, and I'm happy with that. Like, there's nothing wrong with running 1 show a year with what we're doing with it. This is a platform we can do amazing things with, and that we have done amazing things with. This is not just playing wrestler. This is not just settling scores from the past. This is a promotion where we're like putting things that aren't wrestling in front of wrestling, and using wrestling as a way to like do good things for like just the community, for people that aren't just big noting ourselves and making ourselves look like we're big shots. Expansion plans, well, we're back at Cara Civic Centre next year for Cara's Fight for Emma, October 31st, 2026. Tickets are on sale now from the Cara Civic Centre box office and website, and are already selling pretty well. We're back there. The venue has been renovated and is now found to have been suitable for what we needed it to, whereas at first it was looking like it was not going to be, with the new seating and stuff. But we're back there. It's a bit over double the size of the church hall we ran in terms of capacity. So yeah, really I just want to keep getting as big a crowd as possible there, and doing as much as we can for Emma's charity and the community as a whole, and just putting on quality shows that the people enjoy. May not be New Japan like quality wrestling, it may not be WWE in terms of production, but what we do I think is very special and something that people can enjoy and look at and have a smile and have a laugh at times, and just a bit of warmth in their heart of what we're doing. And this is different than just any other wrestling promotion. This is like Cara's wrestling promotion, and it's promotion for the people, like just trying to do great things. In terms of expansion, I've been offered shows in other towns. I just don't know whether, like, just in terms of my health, with the concussions and everything, whether I can do that, and whether cost of living I can get wrestlers to those other towns. We'll see in the future if things improve on any of those fronts. I'm happy at Cara Civic Centre. It is an amazing venue. Production-wise, it's the best venue in town. In terms of accessibility for fans, especially those like with mobility issues and stuff, there's nowhere better in town. If ever we got to the stage, like, this is a pipe dream and it'll probably never happen, but an open air show, maybe one of the footy fields or one of the large shed style venues in town, maybe just like some large scale thing in front of a few hundred people, maybe even more. That's probably never going to happen, but it'd be cool if it did. But yeah, Cara Civic Centre, just running these shows and just keeping on. Like, a lot of people in wrestling fall into this trap that you have to be getting bigger and better. Sometimes just keeping on and still running is as big a success as any, especially in a market that's very oversaturated, and in Australia doesn't have a lot of like mainstream acceptance or support. In most cases, Cara obviously being the exception, getting that mainstream support from the community. So yeah, it really is just running these shows every year, making them as good as we can for the community, and raising as much money as possible for Emma's Tongue Cancer Charity. So now, final question number 10. What I want fans, especially new fans seeing this footage for the first time, to know about ICW Central West and what makes it unique in Australian wrestling. I think I've spoken about like how we're a wrestling promotion that puts the aspects of what we can do that aren't wrestling ahead of wrestling, and that's a big part of it. I think as well, we're a promotion that we're passionate about wrestling, and we're passionate about putting on as good a show as possible and that sort of thing. But we don't take ourselves too seriously. The thing we take seriously is what we can do with pro wrestling. It's not whether someone executed a move perfectly or something went wrong. Obviously I feel bad if I mess something up, as anyone does. But the most important thing is what we're doing with these shows, what we're using this platform for. Like I said, we're not the most well-oiled like wrestlers. Most of us. Some of us are. Some like me, injured, old, can't do what they used to do. We don't have the production of WWE, but we have pretty good production, even like just for an indie show, especially when we're back at the Carra Civic Centre with all the improvements made to that venue. And it was always pretty good in the past too. And the DJs we've had, like Dennis and Kerry with DJ Wild Entertainment, have always done good for us. They've always done really well. But yeah, I think the difference is where we try to cater to all people, not just wrestling fans, but we don't want to leave the wrestling fans out. I try to appeal to every single demographic I can, obviously within the limits of what you can do legally and without like upsetting people. I can't really go into the deathmatch realm, and that's not to look down on that, on the deathmatch style of wrestling. I actually really like it. I'm a big fan of it, but it's probably something I'll never do as a promoter or as a wrestler. But yeah, apart from that most violent sort of scene, and apart from like the sort of the 18 plus scene, where even if it's like not violent, but it's like a lot of swearing, a lot of sexual innuendo, and that I try not to get into that sort of thing. But outside of those two sort of parts of wrestling, everything in between, I try and put little like snippets of each style and each genre and each type of wrestling you can do, and cater to all the people, all the various demographics as I've mentioned. So yeah, really, we're a wrestling promotion that does the best we can with what we've got for the fans, for the community, even helping people like who aren't even like coming to the shows. The fact that we've saved 3 lives with the early detection scopes we bought, early oral detection scopes. Those people will probably never come to our shows. They probably don't know we exist if they live outside of Carra Shire. And that doesn't matter. We're helping people. We're doing good. Like for people who just needed someone to help them, whether it's like the fans I donated a bunch of merchandise to last Christmas because they didn't have any way of getting Christmas presents, whether it's the fundraising we did for Headspace, whether it's like helping the local disability communities with an affordable form of entertainment. So yeah, really, if you want the best possible wrestling that's $1 million budget, fireworks, perfectly executed moves, you're probably not going to get it here. But you'll get something that's every other bit of the wrestling scene and like entertainment scene and everything else you can think of. And if you're in the area or you want to travel, please come to one of our shows. We think you'll enjoy it. The old saying of come in curious and leave a fan, I think, is very much relevant to ICW Central West. And yeah, really just give us a chance. We hope you'll enjoy. You may not enjoy everything, but you'll enjoy some. You may enjoy everything. You may end up being like a die-hard fan who comes every show. You may end up training with us. You may end up being one of our wrestlers. But yeah, ICW Central West, we're Carra's wrestling promotion. We're the people's wrestling promotion. We're the promotion that does good, and we're the promotion who's driven by good. But yeah, now thank you, Jake Gibson, for the questions. Thank you all for watching this. I hope I haven't waffled on too much. But yeah, thanks for watching, and as the old saying goes, I'll see you at the show.